All right, so here we are for another video, and this one is going to deal with identifying, let's see, your I can statement actually says, I can identify organic compounds when given the chemical formula or a picture of the structure. And I don't have any pictures, I might can pull one up if we have time online. So a carbohydrate, how do you know it's a carbohydrate? Well, the name tells you it's got carbon, and hydrate talks about water, so that's H and O. Okay, so we know that carbohydrates are going to have CH and O in them, and we also know from studying them that they generally fall in a 1 to 2 to 1 ratio. This could be something simple like C6H12O6, so you have the same number, 6 carbons, 6 oxygens, and twice as many hydrogens. Or sometimes, because when you put two monomers together, you lose a water. Sometimes it's slightly off, but it's still going to be pretty close. So if you look at how many carbons and how many oxygens, they're going to be almost the same, and there should be about twice as many hydrogens. If it's a lipid, it also has CH and O. Now, some lipids, like a phospholipid, might have phosphate, but as a whole, lipids generally only have CH and O, and they have usually very few oxygens. Okay, so this would be, for example, if we had C6H12O6 up here, down here it might be C6H12O2, or O, or just O, just one O, or just C6H12 with no O's. So you're going to see a drastic drop when you come to the oxygens. When we look at proteins, they have C, H, and O, because all of the organic compounds have those. And this is an amino acid, so when you look at it, you'll see there's the C's, the H's, the O's. There's also an N for that amino group. And then the R group, the functional group, can have different things. It's generally carbons, hydrogens, maybe oxygens, but there are also some that contain nitrogen, and there are also some that contain sulfur. So we put sulfur in parentheses because most proteins don't contain sulfur, but there is a possibility that proteins, or I should say most amino acids don't contain sulfur. There is a possibility that you could have an amino acid whose R group contains sulfur. And then nucleic acids, C, H, and O, because again, they all have that. They have a nitrogen base. I know that's really tiny. You might not be able to see that. But a nitrogen base, so they've got nitrogen. And then they have a phosphate group. So that would be a phosphate. And these include, of course, DNA and RNA. And the Na stands for nucleic acid, but also ATP, ADP, MP. So there are other nucleic acids besides DNA and RNA. Those are just the two famous ones. All right, so let's look at some examples. So here we have C18H32O16. All right, so we know automatically it's only CH and O, so it's got to be one of these two. Is it have few O's, or is it pretty close to a 1 to 2 to 1? Well, 18, 16, that's pretty close. And so we're going to say that's a carb. What happened here is this is actually C6H12O6 times 3, which gives us C18H36O18, okay? But because we had 3 molecules there, we had to lose 2 waters. So that's where we lost our 4 H's to bring us down to 32, and our 2 oxygens to bring us down to 16. So that's why it's not exactly 1 to 2 to 1. All right, the next one, C3H7O2NS. Okay, so this, this one, we see CH and O, but we see a nitrogen, but we don't see a phosphorus. So that tells us that it is a protein. C10H14N5O7P. So we see all CHON and P, so that is a nucleic acid. C6H12O6, we've talked about before, that's a carb, that's glucose. This is actually something called raffinose, which is just a fun name. This is cysteine. I chose that on purpose because I wanted one that had sulfur. This is adenine with an adenine nucleotide, and this is of course glucose. Then this one, CH3CH214COOH. You could add all that up, but we already know that we're going to have 14, 15, 16 carbons, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32 hydrogens, but only 2 oxygens. When you have huge differences in numbers there, that you know that that is a lipid. C9H11NO2, we see that CHON, that's CHON, so that's a protein. C9H13N2O9P, we see all 5, so we know that's a nucleic acid. And then C55H98O6, that is another lipid. These are actually both triglycerides. This one is phenylalanine, and this is uracil. So those are just some examples to run through. If you still have questions,